I think the demand for nail cutters in Australia and India especially must be going down, because the human teeth is doing what nail cutters are supposed to do. What a game we've had on the second ODI between Australia and India at the Great Barrier Reef Arena in Mackay, where Australia had been set a target of 275. They had no business chasing that down after being 52 for 4. And here we are at the end of it all, having almost had all possibilities of the result going either way till that last second, when 2 runs were needed of the last ball and Nicola Carey did just what was needed. Welcome back to the Outside View Live, where we dissect what happened in that second ODI and how Australia have managed to keep that winning streak alive. As I pick the brains of Ananya Upendran and Yash Lahoti, but पहला यश आपसे मैं शुरुआत करूंगा. जो हमने मिड मैच में ऑप्टिमिज्म भेजने वाले थे वो शायद इंडियन टीम तक पहुंची या नहीं, क्या लगता है आपको?
मुझे लगता है कि झूलन गोस्वामी बहुत थक चुकी थी बैटिंग कर कर, तो उन तक नहीं पहुंची, बाकी पूरी टीम तक पहुंच चुकी थी. क्योंकि अगर आप लास्ट ओवर तक देखो तो पूरा मैच इंडिया के हाथ में था. 12 रन चाहिए थे आखिरी ओवर में. मूनी पूरी थक चुकी थी, पूरे 50 ओवर फील्डिंग किया, फिर 50 ओवर बैटिंग कर लिया. मुझे नहीं लगा था कि ये मैच शायद ये जीत भी पाएंगे. आखिरी बॉल तक भी नहीं लगा था. ऐसा लग रहा था इंडिया जीतेगा, इंडिया जीतेगा. एक मोमेंट पे जीत चुका था और फिर हमको पता चलता है कि अरे वो बॉल तो नो बॉल था. तो हाँ, काफी मेरे हिसाब से ऐसे मैच होने चाहिए. मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ऑस्ट्रेलिया जीता है आज, लेकिन एक ऐसा मैच हुआ है कि हाँ, पूरे 100 ओवर का खेल हुआ. 100 ओवर के खेल के आखिरी गेंद तक हमें क्या किसी को शायद आइडिया नहीं था कि क्या होगा. मूनी को खुद को आइडिया नहीं था, किसी को आइडिया नहीं था. तो मेरे हिसाब से ऐसा मैच होना चाहिए. बहुत बेहतरीन मैच था. एवरीबॉडी परफॉर्म टू देयर बेस्ट लेवल. इंडिया डिड, ऑस्ट्रेलिया डिड. सिंपली एंजॉयड द मैच.
जी हाँ, 5 विकेट से ऑस्ट्रेलिया ने जीत दर्ज कर ली. बट अनन्या, नो वंस कंप्लेनिंग probably, isn't it? Because the action for all those 50 overs was kind of the top notch.
It was. I mean, it was a great advertisement for women's cricket. I think, especially women's ODI cricket. We've seen a lot of T20s in the recent past, but having such a close ODI that went down to the very last ball, it was thrilling to watch. My heart was racing just watching it. So I can't imagine what the players were going through. But you know, that innings by Beth Mooney, Australia had absolutely no business to win. They should have been steamrolled. I think the way India bowled in those first 15 overs, it was incredible. And then the fact that Tahlia McGrath came in and had that partnership with Mooney, it was incredible. And yeah, I think that it's I hate this cliche, but cricket was the winner, I suppose.
Yeah, true that. Let's start with the good things for India first. 52 for 4, but that first wicket that India got in the form of Alyssa Healy, Ananya, I don't think it would be justice for anybody of us to talk about it than you, because top notch, ending Healy's run of 40 innings without a duck in ODI cricket.
Yeah, it was an incredible ball, and I don't think that I can do justice to describe it. I mean, it was just, I think it was a dream delivery. In 2017, we saw Jhulan Goswami bowl the delivery that kind of nipped away off the seam to dismiss Meg Lanning in that semi-final, and today she got one to nip back into Alyssa Healy. And we've seen, I know she went 40 innings without a duck in international cricket, but in the WBBL, we have seen that the ball just tailing into the off stump or straightening on the line of the off stump, Healy is slightly susceptible to that. And I think it was a great setup by Jhulan Goswami that the outswingers to start with, and then she bowled one that really hooped in the air, and got through a gap that was minimal. I mean, after the ball hit the stumps, you could see that Healy's bat and pad were quite close together. So how the ball snuck through is anybody's guess, but it was a fantastic delivery, and just the start that India needed. It kind of kick-started a wonderful first few overs for them.
Yeah, true. And यश वो स्टार्टिंग का जो हिस्सा था इस रन चेस का, 3 सीमर्स, तीनों को एक एक विकेट, यदि आप झूलन की बात करें, पूजा वस्त्रकर की बात करें और मेघना सिंह की भी बात करें, बढ़िया सी शुरुआत थी और ऐसा लग रहा था कि ये ट्रेलर है वो पिंक बॉल टेस्ट मैच का।
आप इमेजिन करो कि शायद आज अगर शिखा पांडे होती राजेश्वरी गायकवाड़ या पूनम यादव की जगह पर, और जिस हिसाब से हमको वो स्विंग मिल रहा था, जिस हिसाब से मेघना सिंह, झूलन गोस्वामी ने बॉलिंग करी, उसमें एक शिखा को ऐड कर दो और जो पहले 20 ओवर 15-20 ओवर होते थे वो कितने और ज्यादा बेटर हो सकते थे। तो मेरे हिसाब से थोड़ा हमने शायद पिच रीड गलत कर लिया है, हमने एक स्पिनर को एक्स्ट्रा खिला लिया है जबकि हमने एक पेसर को खिलाना चाहिए था। इमेजिन अगर एक विकेट पर पूजा वस्त्रकर जैसी 7-8 ओवर अगर डाल रही है, somebody like a Shikha Pandey would have made a lot of difference. That is what I feel. And of course, we did bowl very, very well in the first 15-20 overs. We got that 52 for 4, which is never heard of. Like Australia losing Healy, Lannon, Gardner, Perry in the first 15-20 overs was something to be seen. But of course, they did play really well. They still had Molyneux. They had Veremode, who was out with an injury, but she could have still batted, as Lannon mentioned. So they still had batting left. It was not like कि उनकी batting carry तक खत्म हो रही थी, उनके पास और batting बची हुई थी। तो imagine करो कि वो Australian team कैसी है, कितनी strong है। Of course, you need to be the best to beat the best. I think so India really tried hard. कुछ एक दो decisions अगर आप इधर उधर अगर ठीक और कर दो, तो Indian team could also be there to beat this Australian side or even a better Australian side.
Yeah, true that. And Ananya, we saw first glimpse of Meghna Singh in that first ODI, and we were kind of waiting to see how she does under lights with that moment, especially after we saw what Tahlia McGrath got. Your thoughts on Meghna Singh versus Meg Lanning today?
It was a great battle, and I think what I was really impressed with Meghna is that, you know, everyone knows, at least the Australians saw, that she was hooping the ball away from them in that first ODI, and even in domestic cricket, you know, people blindly think that Meghna Singh is going to hoop the ball away, and you can, if you cover the swing, you can hit her through the offside. But what I really enjoyed today was that Meghna Singh was willing to bowl the off cutter with the new ball, which meant that she had Lanning in a bit of trouble, getting the ball to kind of either come in or just hold its line, which meant that Lanning was sometimes feeling for the ball. She wasn't sure which way it was going. So it was a very, very interesting battle. And I was also happy to see her bowl the bouncer. She has a very deceptive bouncer. She kind of just jogs in a little like Annabelle Sutherland, but really hits the pitch hard. So happy to see her also, you know, dish out the bouncer. That's how she did get her first wicket. And it was a wonderful battle to see. I feel like, you know, Meghna kind of showed a little bit like Sneha Rana, the experience that she's come into the side with, and she didn't look like she was phased by international cricket. It looked like kind of a seamless step up. I'm sure she was very nervous bowling to some of the best batters in the world, but it didn't really show, and she executed her skills superbly. And I think what she's shown is that she's learning very, very quickly, realizing how she needs to take wickets.
Right. Let's
just to add there, if you there were moments when Meghna was near to the boundary and Shikha was continuously, they both were chatting. So I'm sure a lot of information was exchanged that, oh, okay, this is something, because Shikha is an experienced pro. So I think so that happened a lot. We saw that a couple of glimpses of that when the camera had put Meghna and Shikha together when she was fielding at the boundary.
अब आते हैं हमारी इस कहानी के नायिका की ओर। पिछले मैच में तो उनको बल्लेबाजी का मौका नहीं मिला, इस मैच में उप कप्तान नहीं थी ऑस्ट्रेलिया की, तो इनको ओपन करने को कहा गया। फिर देख रही हैं कि एक बल्लेबाज जिन्होंने डक ही नहीं स्कोर किया 40 ओडीआईज में, वे डक पे आउट होती हैं। फिर देखती हैं कि उनके कप्तान 2 मेडन ओवर्स खेलने के बाद फुल शॉट पे आउट होती हैं, फिर और 2 विकेट्स। गिरते हुए देखती हैं और फिर उनका जलवा दिखाना शुरू करते हैं। यश, बेथ मूनी के बारे में क्या कहेंगे आप?
मेरे हिसाब से बेथ मूनी काफी हॉन्ट करेगी क्योंकि T20 वर्ल्ड कप की भी वो प्लेयर ऑफ द टूर्नामेंट थी। तभी भी आउट नहीं हुई थी इंडिया से फाइनल्स में। पहले मैच में खेली नहीं, आज फिर से आउट नहीं हुई इंडिया से। सो उनका जो एक स्ट्रीक है, उनका एक अलग ही स्ट्रीक चल रहा है कि हाँ मुझे इंडिया से आउट नहीं होना है। अगर वहां से भी देखा, वहां पे भी आउट नहीं हुई। हीली ने मार मार के आउट आउट हो गई थी हीली आखिरी में, लेकिन यहाँ वो उस वक्त भी नहीं हुई थी, आज भी नहीं हुई। काफी अंडररेटेड प्लेयर है, लेकिन वो हिंदी में बोलते हैं सुमड़ी में आके काम करके निकल जाती है। तो मेरे हिसाब से वो वैसी प्लेयर है। नोबडी स्पीक्स वेरी हाईली ऑफ हर, similar to Haynes. People just talk about, say, the Lamin, Perrys of the world, Heelys of the world. I always have felt that Mooney always comes, does her job, which is expected of her. There is a lot of shuffle in her batting order itself. 2017 के वर्ल्ड कप में देखा, Mooney used to open. उसके बाद में से हीली को ओपन करवाया, इनको नंबर 5 पे खिलवाया। T20 ओपन करती है, लेकिन वनडे में उनको नंबर 5 पे खिलवाया। अभी फिर से आज उनको एक चांस मौका मिला था कि हाँ हेन्स इंजर्ड है तो आप ओपन करेंगे, और जैसे ही उनको ओपनिंग का मौका मिला, 50 ओवर्स, लाइक टू बी at any ground, I am saying heat, no heat, anything, first to field 50 overs and then to bat 50 overs, I don't think so it's like very possible. She did that, and that is something that stood out. Like, I know that she won the game, she was there till the end, everything, but to be there for those 100 overs with that same intensity, अगर हमने देखा तो उन्होंने सिंगल्स डबल्स ज्यादा लिए हैं। ऐसा नहीं कि वो ग्राउंड क्लियर करने का ट्राई कर रही है या कंटिन्यूअस फोर से सिक्सेस का ट्राई कर रही है, वैसा कुछ भी नहीं था। शी वाज सिंपली ट्राइंग टू बी देयर, that intent was very much visible, and if you've seen, her strike rate was always between 85-90, that range of strike rate. She was never trying, she never had too many dot balls to put pressure on her and her team was nowhere there. Their run rates were continuously increasing, but she was still there with a calm head, first with McGrath, then with Carey, and she finished the match. Simply superb from Beth Mooney.
Yeah, the story of Beth Mooney's transformation has really been a tremendous one. 2.5 years ago, there were question marks about her being fit for a T20 game, Ananya. But from there to kind of field for 50 overs, as Yash mentioned, and then bat, take the run chase, take Australia home and keep that streak alive, I think Mooney has really come a long way, isn't it?
She's come a very, very long way and kind of cemented herself as one of Australia's pillars of that lineup. I mean, she's been part of every single game in that 26 match streak. So that says something about her. None of Lanning or Perry have been, but I mean, Beth Mooney has been a crucial part of that Australian lineup, and she proves it, you know, whenever she gets the opportunity, whether it's batting in a T20 or whether it's finishing a one-day game. And you know, just to extend on what Yash said, I think, you know, just like he said, the fact that she was on the field for 100 overs, I mean, speaks volumes of her fitness. She was fielding on the boundary, you know, saved a lot of runs on the boundary. And also just the fact that she was motoring between the wickets even in the last over. I think that was extraordinary. She wasn't looking for the boundary. And I think what really showed I think the level of fitness kind of showed in her game awareness. Even after Nicola Carey got caught by Astika Bhatia, she made sure that she sent Nicola Carey back into the crease and said, hey, we don't know what's happening, so just go back because we're not sure. So just that game awareness, and that you only have that one when you have the experience, but also when you're very fit and you're still, you know, in the situation, you're present there. And you know, we've seen Beth Mooney kind of do this through the WBBL. She kind of always does it in big games. And you know, in her home state, she was definitely not going to allow India to get over the line.
For those of you wondering, the transformation story of Beth Mooney is really something that should inspire you, would inspire you. Just check out the Women's Cricket Zone magazine, issue 3. It's the cover story. She'd spoken to Adam Collins about it all, and there his Yash Lahoti flashing that magazine. Yes, just go and check that story out. You will know where she was and where she how far she's come from where she was. बट जैसे फिल्मों में होता है, जैसे हर कहानी में होती है, एक नायिका एक स्ट्रॉन्ग कैरेक्टर होता है, लेकिन उसके साथ का सपोर्ट किरदार काफी महत्वपूर्ण होता है। और आज वो सपोर्टिंग किरदार निभाया ताहलिया मैग्राथ ने। पहले इनिंग्स में बॉल के साथ 3 विकेट 45 रन देकर उन्होंने 3 विकेट चटकाए, और फिर ये रन चेज में 52 फॉर 4 का स्कोर था ऑस्ट्रेलिया का जब वे जुड़ी मूनी के साथ, और वहां से 126 रनों की साझेदारी लगाई दोनों ने। अनन्या, तालिया मैग्रा, आई मीन शी वाज हेल्ड एज वन ऑफ द फ्यूचर कैप्टन्स probably. If there's a question that after landing who, I think there were talks going around that McGrath could be the one. और आज उन्होंने अपनी ऑल राउंड स्किल्स के साथ, ऑल राउंड एबिलिटी के साथ कितना प्रभावित किया?
Oh, she was exceptional today, and a lot of talk has been around Annabelle Sutherland and how she could be the next Elise Perry, or even better than Elise Perry. But I think Tahlia McGrath has really grabbed her opportunities in this series. She bowled exceptionally well in the first game and in the second game, but the way she batted today was outstanding. She was the one who kind of upped the ante for Australia when the chips were down. I think the way she played spin was exceptional, going over the top when needed, playing with the spin, working the angles. I love the way that she played Poonam Yadav, staying deep in the crease and scooping her over square leg. And I think she picked her moments superbly with the bat, and she kind of made sure that Australia stayed in the game, because they could have lost it quite easily after the 52 for 4 and 15 odd overs. They could have lost the game had she gotten out then. But, she made sure that Mooney was allowed to play at a slow pace, maybe play that sheet anchor role. And she was the aggressor through that innings. She got to her 50 a little before Beth Mooney. And that just shows how mature she is. She bats number 3 for South Australia, so batting number 6 is a slight alien position to her, but she adjusted to it quite beautifully, and I was very, very impressed with the way she just handled all the bowlers. And that off drive is something else. We talk about Meg Lanning and her square drive. I think Tahlia McGrath's off drive is just beautiful. Her back path, and I think she's definitely one for the future for Australia. She will hold the position in that middle order. And
if I remember right, Tahlia McGrath's last ODI batting innings, I think so, that was again a match that she saved. If I'm not wrong, was this the third ODI against New Zealand in 2019?
Yeah.
Indeed, 74 from 77, and but it seemed as if those were open a bit after McGrath's dismissal, but Nicola Carey came in and Yash क्या बढ़िया support दिया उन्होंने फिर Mooney को. That entire last partnership that took Australia home an unbeaten 97. There weren't many opportunities given at that point as well.
Yeah, I think so. As Shajin rightly tweeted that the side which made fewer mistakes has won. I think so. It's been very clear that India made more mistakes, whether it be the 2 no balls that Julian Goswami put, or that LPW shout of Rajeshwari, or the other things. I think so. Even in the fielding, we didn't do really well. A couple of missed chances from Richa. So I think so. That overall is the reason that we've lost. But I still feel that Nicola Carey did pretty well. She was injured, had an injury, didn't play the first game, came back, took her spot. Had Rachel Haynes played, we could have seen that Nicola Carey wouldn't have played. So she came because Haynes was injured. Rightly put up that I am an all-rounder in the team, and that's the reason I deserve my place, and I have put everything right to be in this Australian 11, which is very dangerous, and win this for her team. So I think so she did everything in her power, was listening to Mooney, who was there for whatever 45, 46 overs. She didn't do anything on her own. It was continuous. They were continuously chit-chatting and doing whatever they had discussed.
And just to jump in, I think talking about McGrath and Carey, I think one of the things that was said on comms as well is which one of them could get into the Test 11. And I think with this knock and with the way she bowled, I feel like Tahlia McGrath has kind of just edged her way into that Test 11 and should definitely be there batting at number 6 or 7.
Yeah, the test match is what, 1 week away, but I think many of us can't wait to get there. But for this game, let's kind of talk about India before we kind of shut shop for the day. Ananya, that middle overs, it was a problem with the bat in the recent past. Today, it seemed as if the bowlers and the fielding especially let India down.
Yeah, I think it's strange to say, but India's, I think, ground fielding was actually pretty good today. It was their catching that let them down. I mean, you think of Beth Mooney was dropped quite early off Meghna Singh's bowling. And I think Richa Ghosh missed a caught behind of Tahlia McGrath. And there were a fair few chances in the field that went down, maybe a couple of half chances as well. But I think generally India's ground fielding was quite good, and they saved a lot more runs than they generally do. And I think that was also down to the fact that Jemima Rodriguez was on the field for a long time. She saved plenty of runs, so should kind of sneak her name into that scorecard somehow. But yeah, I think, look, India's middle overs bowling today was looked a bit toothless. That's probably a mixture of, that the conditions didn't quite help the slower bowlers. There was not much turn on offer, and with the dew, you saw the amount of dew on the field. The bowlers really weren't able to generate or get any purchase off the surface. So look, I think I'm actually pleasantly surprised with the way Deepti Sharma bowled, especially towards the back end. But yeah, the middle overs bowling, I think, was a bit toothless, and that was probably a phase where India allowed Australia to kind of drift away from them. They allowed Tahlia McGrath to play herself in. I think they fed her a lot of width, and Tahlia McGrath loves scoring through the offside. So those little things with the plans not quite working. I think Poonam Yadav was also a bit off her game, quite short, through her first couple of spells. So a bit of an issue. We always point out and say the seamers haven't done their job, but today, unfortunately, it's India's stronger suit that haven't quite fired.
And I was very surprised that Meghna, who's bowling well, didn't complete her 10 overs. Julian, we all thought that, okay, she has 3 overs left, so she'll bowl those 3 overs, 45, 47, 49, whatever, in that last, but she didn't come. It was Deepti and Poonam. I understand that they wanted to take the pace of the ball, but then why do you have Julian then bowl the 50th over when Deepti actually had an over left? So that was a bit something that I didn't understand. 49th over you put to Rajeshwari, whereas 47th was bowled by Deepti. So I thought, oh, okay, if Rajeshwari is bowling 49, then 50 has to go to Deepti. That didn't happen. So there was a lot of confusion that Deepti didn't complete her overs, Julian didn't complete, Meghna didn't complete, Rajeshwari came and bowled. So all that, I think, was a huge confusion. I didn't understand that why this happened. But I think so if those plans could have been better, things would have been a lot different.
Additionally, I mean, sorry to jump in, but additionally, I think, honestly, Pooja Vastakar was over bowled. I don't think she should have bowled 8 overs. I know the ball was swinging around, but the lengths that she bowls allowed someone like Tahlia McGrath to jump onto the back foot and smack her through point or pull her. So that was the issue. And I think additionally, I spoke about this earlier, but Meghna Singh, if she has to bowl out before the 35th over because she doesn't have too much variation. So I think India probably missed a trick, but we don't know what happened there.
So Ananya, do you feel that there has been one of the greatest comebacks in women's cricket history, ODI history?
I mean, well, it's probably one of the greatest comebacks that I've seen live on television.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, definitely.
Right then, there you go. 275 is what Australia chased down to take the series and keep their 26-game winning streak alive. And remember, this has been their highest chase in this period of the last 26 ODI. So that speaks volumes about what they've achieved. And 24th September, I thought it could turn out to be historic because of what happened in 2007. But not to be this time. You still can hope as Indians because the way they fought back today was really inspiring. But before we close down, a couple of questions that will put hopefully Yash and Ananya on the spot. Your picks for the moment of the game. Yash, let's start with you. कौन सी वो एक मोमेंट है इस सेकेंड ओडीआई की जो आप which you'll pick for the moment of the game?
I think so. Beth Mooney being on the field for 100 overs is my moment of the game. I don't see there is any other thing I would want to even pick. I understand that there might have been better performances individually. McGrath was great, everything. But just to be there on the field for 100 overs, it's literally something that we can't even think of. And especially knowing Mooney's story, that she found it difficult to even play a 20 over game because of the health issues, and just to be there on for 100 overs, I think so that speaks volume. So I think so that's my moment of the game.
Ananya?
I'm going with Pooja Vastrkar's run out of Elise Perry. I think I'm a huge fielding focused person, so that was my moment of the day. But also, since I'm hashtag team pacer, cannot discount Julian Goswami's ball to dismiss Alyssa Healy. But also, I feel like maybe not as good, but equally an in-swinger's dream was Tahlia McGrath's ball to Richa Ghosh.
Had you not mentioned?
Of the game.
Yeah, had she not mentioned the Julian Goswami thing, I would have probably brought in a Meghna Singh. Just that one ball that she bowled to Meg Lanning, that 1.2 or 1.3, where she pitched one on middle and off, and that got that to swing it away. I mean, I know Ananya will say that it's not a wicket ball and that so it won't count, but I think that will be one of the moments of the game for me. Right, there you go. That brings curtains to the second ODI between Australia and India. It's 2-0 in the hosts' favor, 4 points for them. A lot of catching up as far as India are concerned in this series. The third ODI is on Sunday. But remember, you need not wait till Sunday, because tomorrow, that is 25th of September at 6 p.m. Indian time, the fifth and the latest issue of Women's Cricket Zone magazine will be out. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye out for that. And there is a small event as well for that. Online, of course. So sit in the comfort of your homes, in your favorite place on that sofa. Remember, there's no jinxing here. So you can choose all the place you'd want, all that you want at 6 p.m. Indian time tomorrow. That is Saturday. So don't forget to tune in for that. It's a small event. We'll notify you with the details of it on our social media platforms. But remember, issue 5 of the Women's Cricket Zone magazine will be out tomorrow. That is September 25th. And then the final ODI on 26th. But right now, 25th September is the date you need to mark in your calendars. 6 p.m. Indian time once again. Right, there you go. Thanks, Ananya. Thanks, Yash, for joining us for the second ODI on the Outside View Live. We will all meet as far as the India-Australia series is concerned on Sunday, early morning start. So see you all then.